of the Chuck Shoot podcast. I am your host, Chuck Shoot. With me, as always, is Dana. Dana, say hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So this is exciting because this is actually, I guess, technically our second episode. I don't know if we're even going to show anybody the first one because it was kind of an experiment, but this is our first one where we actually have a guest.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited about this guy. His name's Anthony Davis, and I'll tell you a little bit more about him, but let's get him on the phone.
Yeah.
So are we ready?
Let's call him up.
Okay. We're going to pause it here for a second, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm very excited to announce our first guest, Anthony Davis, comedian. He's from North Carolina. He's not to be confused with the basketball player. He is the winner of the 2019 San Diego Comedy Festival. Please welcome Anthony Davis. Anthony, say hello.
Hey.
How you
Hello.
doing?
Welcome.
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Great, yeah. So you're from North Carolina originally, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you now you're aware? Obviously, you're aware of the basketball player. Are you a big North Carolina sports fan?
No, I didn't play sports growing up. Look at me.
No, but do you watch
No,
them?
really.
Like, do you like to watch football? Or are you a Panthers fan or anything? Or
No, no. That wasn't a big thing where I was at. No one gave a crap about that stuff.
okay,
The only thing they cared about is smoking meth and keeping their teeth in their head.
So let's start at the beginning here. Kind of go through a chronological history. So you grew up in Sanford, North Carolina, and the first 6 years of your life you lived with your grandma, and there was no running water or electricity. Is that correct?
Wow, you did a lot of research, didn't you?
I did a little research. Yeah.
Yeah, I over-exaggerate. I mean, it was just a visitor, but yeah, I had running water for a little bit. But yeah, I've lived without electricity and running water. It sucked.
Yeah. So, but like, and that's kind of, it's interesting when you're a little kid. That's just everything that you know is like your home, and so you don't understand. You said like you went to a friend's house, and then you're like, oh wow, this is like way different, and because all you know is what you live with.
Yeah, it was great. It was like, this is cool. This is TV. I want that.
Yeah. So and then
we got it.
And then your mom was a devout Christian, and was your father was a Southern Baptist preacher?
Yeah, he was a preacher and everything, and he liked it. He loved religion and everything. It's just that's if you're raised in that kind of environment, you aren't raised by people that very forward thinking. So
Right.
Me moving out of North Carolina and going where I went to, they're kind of surprised that all happened.
Yeah, so that must be interesting. Now, I don't know. Sometimes like I listen to interviews with you or whatever. I'm not sure if this is like you're telling the truth or this is like part of your comedy. But I heard something that you said your sister was a transgendered woman trying to become a man living in Georgia. So I mean that must be interesting.
She told me that she was.
Okay.
She used to send me pictures of herself, and she would draw a beard on her face with marker. She's like, this is what I'm going to look like. I'm like, you got to earn your beard. You can't just draw it on.
And then she had like
she told me she wanted to, but she said she's just going to stay happy as a woman.
But did she really show you a book of artificial penises and was showing you like, hey, which one do you think I should get?
Yes, and that book will haunt me for the rest of my life. Seeing a big book of dicks is a lot more than most people should handle in their lifetime. But I was only like 17, so.
So how did your parents handle that? If your mom's a devout Christian and your father's a Southern Baptist, I mean, are they okay with it?
My sister left. No, my sister got married to a man, and then she got divorced and got married to another man, and then she came out. But by that time, she had already moved out. So, what they say is when you're raised in a very Christian home,
right?
Cut off from the world. When you actually go out in the world, there's either two things that can happen: you get overwhelmed by it and it fucks with you, or you just take it and you're just like, "That's cool." I'm the one that took everything cool. My sister's the one that took everything and just went with it. She's a vegan. She lives out on the land. She does all that weird shit.
And your parents, your parents are still they still have a relationship with her. They haven't disowned her or anything like that, or?
No, they didn't do anything of that shit. That stuff doesn't really happen as much as people think in the South. It happens a lot of places, but it doesn't happen in the South much.
Right, so that's funny because I went to North Carolina for the first time last summer, and I'm expecting to see mullets and Confederate flags everywhere. And obviously we went to Charlotte, so that's kind of just like a regular city. But then we drove out to Oak Island, and we drove through South Carolina, and it was pretty ordinary. I mean, to be honest with you.
We went to nice places like Charlotte, and then we went to bumfuck no places like where you're from, Anthony, and a bunch of glittered teeth, lawnmower riding weirdos are out there. Yeah.
I didn't think we drove through we tried to drive and see as much of it as we could, just to really, I really wanted to embrace the culture. Like when I go to Portland, I want to see all the hipsters, so when I go to the South, I wanted to see all these like rednecks or whatever, but it really wasn't. They're just normal people. I mean, yeah, there's some rednecks, but there's rednecks in Phoenix where I'm from. So
appreciate it. Yeah, we are normal people.
Yeah, so
we're all regular normal people.
Yeah, and you grew up. So you said you've never had a drop of alcohol in your life. Is that partly because of the way you were raised, or just your own lifestyle choice, or?
No, just my. I've had a beer once or twice, but just because of peer pressure. But outside that, I've never been drunk before either. And that's just my. I've had family that are alcoholics, and I've had I've had people that I've known die from drunk driving. So just never got into it.
Okay.
So that's mainly a personal thing where I'm just like, I thought to myself, it's $6 for a beer, or I could just get Coca-Cola for $2 and get as much as I want of it. So
sure, you save a lot of money.
Does save a lot of money. So growing up in the South, with the Baptist preacher, like obviously then eventually you go into comedy, but when you were growing up in the South, what were your comedy influences? Like cause my parents were a little strict, but were your parents, were you allowed to watch like R-rated comedies and stuff, or?
Oh no. I wasn't. No, God no. I didn't. I think my mom messed up. She let me watch horror movies because I don't think she knew. Mm-hmm. She didn't watch them with me. And we had Cinemax before it got cut off with a black box. We had like that. So I watched Chucky, Jaws, but outside that, she was pretty strict about what I watched. So I didn't really even start watching stand-up comedy until like 15 or 16 when I looked on YouTube.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I'm like a late bloomer when it comes to comedy. Or watching it.
Were there any favorite did you watch Saturday Night Live, or was there any comedy movies or anything that really influenced you that you really thought were really funny?
It was never even stand up. It was just like actual comedy movies, the stupid ones too, like Come Pow, Enter the Fist. Like that was a stupid movie, but I've watched it like 800 times because I thought it was funnier than hell to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. As I watch it now, I'm like, this is dumber than hell. But it's still fun. It's still funny to me for some reason.
Yeah. No, I got it. I have a lot of movies, like a lot of guilty pleasures like that. So,
what's your guilty pleasure then? What's your biggest guilty pleasure movie then?
I'll tell you, embarrassing, worse than Kung Pao. You probably never heard of this movie. John Candy. We love John Candy in my family. My dad loved him, so we always watched John Candy movies. There was a movie called Who's Harry Crumb, and if you look it up, it's probably got some of the worst reviews of any movie. But I still think to this day, I think it's hilarious.
Who's Henry Crumb?
Who's Harry Crumb? It's a John
Harry
Candy.
Crumb. Okay.
Are you familiar with John Candy at all?
Yeah, I know John Candy.
Okay, yeah. I
have
love
the
John
internet,
Candy.
yes.
But that's a really funny John Candy movie, that's kind of a guilty pleasure because nobody's heard of it. But I liked all I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Great Outdoors, all that kind of stuff.
All right, I'll look it up then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love those stupid movies you don't ever expect people to actually watch.
Right.
The only movies I had, because we had Columbia House, where you'd send in okay, you can get this movie. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll get that movie. And 6 weeks later, you're like, oh, cool, I got this movie. And shit. But I still watch it because it's the only thing I had to watch.
Right, okay. That's cool. But so, and then you were an orchestra, or you played the stand-up bass. Was that a symphony? Was that what it was?
Yeah. I've been playing stand-up bass for 17 years now.
Wow. And then you traveled the world with that, or was it just a few trips, or was this...
No, I traveled the world. Yeah, I was in China, Japan, Russia, all those good places.
And so you still do that, but now just kind of like on the side, or?
No, I don't even. I stopped. I did it for a while, but it's too competitive as a lifestyle. Being in an orchestra where you got that pays you, every single season, there's another person trying to take your seat, and it just got too stressful. So I went from that to the less stressful world of comedy, which didn't realize how fucking stressful this was going to be.
Well, there was some other stuff in between there, right? So you were a teacher in Detroit, for 6 years.
Yep.
Tell us about that. That sounds stressful.
Oh yeah, it was awful. I went from North Carolina to outside Detroit to finish my high school. When I started college, I did this thing with Teach for America. While I was in college, they let me sit on classes, student teach classes, and everything. And they were just mean because I didn't know about Detroit, but before I got there,
yeah,
I didn't know how bad Detroit was because I didn't really care. I didn't look it up, and they're like, "Hey, you want to teach in Detroit?" I was like, "I can teach. I'm only like 2 years. I'm only a year into school. I don't even have my degree yet." And they're like,
wow.
"That's fine." They didn't care.
Really?
There's a reason why Teach for America went out of business. It wasn't good. It was a terrible organization.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah,
so that was rough.
They were mean.
But you did that.
They were mean kids.
You did that for 6 years?
Just about. I think it was like 5 or 6 years. I think.
Okay. So
yeah,
and then,
I'm 30 years old. I've done a lot of stuff in 30 years.
Okay, gotcha.
Not happy, but.
So then you started going to work in IT, and then in 2014, that's when you first started stand up, right? And you started doing open mics in Baltimore. And the first time you did it, you got up there and you said something like, "I hope you guys like jokes about trucks," and you got booed, or so that. Tell us about that.
Someone in the back said, "We don't, fuck you."
That's a pretty bold heckle there. Jeez.
Awesome.
Wow.
It was great. I didn't tell anybody. Like when I got there, I didn't want to be given special treatment. Like I saw other people that night where they said it was their first time, so I didn't say it was my first time. I said it was like I was doing this for 6 months because I didn't want special treatment. And then so I went up there and I did that joke, and someone booed me. I was like, "Well, that hurt." And I went on my drive home. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was like, "It's okay. You did okay." I said, "No, I didn't. I did terrible." She's like, "Yeah, we can do better." So,
but you didn't give up.
You want to do this again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you
obviously, I didn't give up.
You kept going. So explain to me this. So I heard that you said you did open mics, and you did 3 times a night open mics for a month, and this was over in Baltimore. How do you do 3 open mics in one night? Was this all at the same club, or you went to 3 different clubs?
No, Baltimore's comedy scene was pretty tight. You could go do 3 mics in one night. It ain't that hard. You can do 2 bars, then because if you go to one bar, just sign up. You can come back like 3 hours later, and you're not even up yet, so you can go do 3 hours. Yeah, the most I've ever done is I did like 7 or 8 in one night, but that was in New York. I did that for like 3 weeks straight. I did like 52 mics a week.
Oh my God.
For 3 weeks.
Is that pretty common in the world of stand-up comedy? I didn't know. I thought, because I used to do open mics a little bit in Seattle, and I mean, if I did 1 in a night, I was like really proud of myself. I was like, all right, I did it. Wow. I can't imagine doing it 3 or 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, New York. Yeah, New York's a great. If you want to get good stand-up, you go to New York. If you want to make it and get found and do like movies and comedy, you go to LA.
Right.
You can do 8 mics in LA, but you're going to drive a lot.
Oh, right.
In New York, I could get on a subway and I could just start at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Didn't get done until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Did you actually live in New York, or were you just staying there for a few weeks, or?
Yeah, I just visited. I stayed on somebody's couch, and then I just went and did it.
And one time, so in 2015, you drove to Michigan from Baltimore 11 hours for one 25-minute set. You ended up doing 2. But tell us about it. You wouldn't even get paid for this, but it was because you loved comedy so much that you just really wanted to do it.
Yeah, I did it for Gilda's Laugh Fest. It was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it was nice. I wasn't even supposed to be on the second show. I just kind of like said I was like, "Oh, hey, I was told I can be on the show." Like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" I'm like, "Oh, cool."
That's awesome.
There's 1, 2, and like I drove there, and it was the worst drive. It was like 13 hours, and then after like 6 hours, you're like, "Oh, I should just kill myself." And then like I didn't have enough money for a hotel room, so I just stayed in my car for like 2 hours, took a quick nap, and I drove back that night.
Oh my gosh! Wow. That's devotion.
Yeah, good for you.
So, and then you ended up.
Never sleep. That's why. If you never sleep, you get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah. But then, so as you're kind of going through this process and your comedy's getting better, then you ended up opening for a comedian who I'd never heard of, but I looked him up, and he was on Everybody Hates Chris. His name's Earthquake, and you opened up for him in Baltimore. And that was that the show you said? There was like 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Yeah, I did. It was like Was it 2000? No, it was like maybe like 400 or 500 people.
Oh, okay.
Earthquake. It was one like when I was like 4 or 5 months in.
Oh, okay.
It was really, but I had to bring people. It was like a bringer show almost.
Yeah.
But I got in. They didn't have to say I had to bring anybody. The guy that booked it liked me. I didn't even know who Earthquake was, to be honest.
Right.
But I just that show stuck out on me so much because it was one of those times where if you don't do good, Baltimore's the one place that'll let you know you didn't.
Right.
I didn't do great, but I didn't do terrible. And people would walk up to each other person. They walk up to the comedians. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so great! You're so great!" And they look at me, and then they skip me, and then go to the next person.
Oh, ouch!
And I was just like, I got to get better.
Damn.
I love that show. That show was like a kick in the ass. Like I need to get better.
Yeah.
I can't stay stagnant.
So okay,
so, you know when you see people who do that,
right?
Yeah.
I screwed up because no, it was the one that was the 2,000 or 3,000 people. That was Christian Finnegan, right? Who was on the show Are We There Yet? The TV show, and I guess he played the white roommate in the Chappelle Show in that sketch, one of the sketches. Yeah. So
it was a great moment because I was like, this is cool. I can't believe I get to do this. It was like a quick 5-minute set too, and it was the whole club was like completely sold out. And he was a really nice guy. I got a picture with him. You know, I was like, maybe I can do it because I got to do this.
Yeah.
And then when I always thought to myself, like, if I can one day just keep doing this for a living. That's when I wanted to realize I wanted to do this for a living.
Very cool.
Stand up comedy.
So it sounds like there's a lot of obviously highs and lows in the stand-up comedy. So when you said you did a show once in Baltimore for literally 0 people? It was just 45 minutes you did it, and it was for the bartender? Was that before?
Yeah. It was before I moved out to L.A.
Okay.
I was in...
Well, that's when you decided
headline a show.
to move to L.A., right? Was that the last show you did in Baltimore?
I was supposed to... I headlined a show. I was going to record it so I could have a good 30-minute tape. Because I thought I was getting better. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then I promoted it. I put posters out for it, and literally no one showed up. And I was just like, what?
Wow.
I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. I can't stay here in Baltimore.
Yeah, could you even make a tape of that? Because it would be no one laughing.
There'd be unless you added crowd laughter, right?
No, it was awful. I couldn't even use the tape. I paid $150 for a camcorder, memory card, and stand. I was like, I can't do this. So I moved. I was like, I can't even bring people to my own show. So I left, and I came to LA.
So you moved to LA in 2016. So then you started working for Dish, installing cable was kind of your day job.
You looked on my Facebook a lot, didn't you?
I looked on everything. I listened to podcasts. I did Instagram, Facebook. I did my research, and then
that's good.
Yeah. So and then you had this. What was the story about? So you're installing cable one time, and the people looked you up to make sure you weren't like a psychopath or something. And they're like, yeah, we looked you up, and we saw your stand-up, and, well, we're just, you should be lucky you have this day job or whatever.
Yeah, that was great. Fucking asshole.
Wow. Seriously, I can't believe, did you, like, mess with their cable after they said that? Like, or you do anything to them?
No, I didn't I still did my job. When people know you're a comedian, people immediately think they can just fucking make jokes at you and fuck with you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
People do that all the time. You have no idea how many people just, as soon as they know I'm a comedian, will come up and say, hey, you should use this joke. And my response is always like, no, I like to say stuff that's funny. Sorry.
You're like, let me do the
jokes. If my family ever says that, my family always says that, like, you should use that for your stand-up. I'm like, nah, I use stuff that's really funny, not stuff that no one will understand.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a person in my life. No one will get this joke.
Exactly.
It's geared towards my aunt. It makes no fucking sense.
Exactly. But so you kind of had I think you kind of had the last laugh on those people because then you ended up you've opened for Margaret Cho and Pauly Shore. Was that in LA?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. I opened for Margaret Cho and the Belly Room at the Comedy Store. I opened up for Pauly Shore last month.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Okay.
He's a really intimidating person when you meet him because he's really quiet person, and I didn't want to fuck up, and then he kicked me out of the dressing room, which sucked.
He kicked you out?
Well, he was polite, but like when I try to make a joke, and he's like, "Hey, can I get the room for myself for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem," and no one else left but me. I was the only person that left. I was like, I get it, but my buddy's like, "Yeah, when he gets hounded by people all the time, the last thing he wants to see is a fan that's just like, oh, good to see him. I was like, yeah, I get it. He probably just wanted to be left alone. Which is cool. But I was like, I got kicked out of the green room by Pauly Shore.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool story. Now, how is his stand-up? Because I know his mom, Mitzi Shore, is the one who owns the Comedy Store, right? So he must have grew up with stand-up. Is his stand-up pretty good? I've never seen him, though, do stand-up.
Yeah. There's a 600-room venue, and he put 608 people in that room.
Wow.
There were people just standing up. It was sold-out shows. It's a great place. Gaslight was a great place, and it was full of people, and he just, the whole time, start to finish, you just had those people rolling.
Wow.
He'd just be talking about random shit.
Yeah.
You didn't think.
Because I always remember him as the movies like Jury Duty and In the Army now and Encino Man, all those like 90s movies or whatever. But I have to check out his stand-up.
He would reference those movies all the time. He tells stories about them. So just imagine like a movie that you love, like Encino Man. He's just telling you behind the scenes stories about it and making them funny. So that was who he is. It was just like that Patton Oswalt joke where he could just get up there and he would just say movies he was in and people would lose their shit.
Yeah. Oh, that is a good joke.
Ratatouille, and they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, totally. So
it was just like that.
Well, you performed at the Comedy Store. Have you ever performed with Fahim Anwar? Do you know that name?
I don't know.
He's a regular at the Comedy Store. I used to follow him in Seattle, and then he moved to LA, and he's getting pretty big up there. But yeah, we went and saw him one time at the Comedy. That's a cool venue, the Comedy Store, and there's like 3 different rooms to it, right?
Yep, original, main, and belly room. And
you performed there, and then you've also performed at the Laugh Factory, right?
Yeah. I just I did the open mic, and after doing the open mic, you do well. Back to do the house spot. If you do the house spot well enough, like you might get a call back. So it was like, I wasn't expecting anything. Then when I did the house spot, less than 2 weeks later, they contacted me to do the Fresh Faces, which it's not really heard of. And then I just did Fresh Faces, and then now I'm going back and doing their Twitch feed a lot, their video game
nice
thing. So it was it's.
And so
just putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and you're starting to do. I mean, in 2018, you won the Chowfest Comedy Festival. I'm not real familiar with that. So how many people did you have to beat out to win that?
26, I think.
That's a lot, though.
Like 2 rounds, two separate rounds.
Wow.
And then semifinals, and then the final.
And then you also won the 2019 San Diego Comedy Film or Comedy Festival. And so was that similar kind of thing, about 20, 30 people you beat out?
Yeah, that was a bigger one. That was at the actual Comedy Palace in San Diego. That was like people had to submit for that, and then it was people that were like had to do this for a living, have huge followers. Like the guy that got second place is Brent Hello. He has like 31,000 followers. Super nice guy too, and he destroyed that room. Yeah. And when he did, I was just like, "Oh, that's fine. Even if I just get 6th place, I'll get $100, and that's gas money.
Okay,
that pays for the submission fee."
So
when they said my name, I was like, "Oh, this can't be real."
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
So how much do you win? How much for first place?
I got $1,000.
Dang, nice. That's not bad at all. Wow, and just like to put that on your resume is like really good to say that winner of the San Diego Comedy Festival.
Yeah. Ever since that, it's. That's when I started I'm getting a lot of steady work from it.
Awesome.
And then I got signed with Uproar, who did Richard Pryor's stuff.
Wow.
So they're going to get me, as soon as I get enough time under my belt, I'm going to be recording a CD in Seattle, probably near the end of the year.
In Seattle?
Depending on what they do. Yep.
Cool. That's where I'm from. Do you know which venue it is up there?
Oh, not yet. They haven't told me yet. They just told me that probably somewhere in Seattle.
Okay.
That's all I know so far.
Well, yeah, let me know, because I know that area. I mean, I grew up there, so it's like I know that area very well. So I know there's some good comedy clubs for sure. So then you do. I love this joke you do about Grindr. Is that a truth? Yeah, that's got to be. I mean, some of these jokes are you embellishing, or is there a little of kernel of truth to that, or? Because the joke about Grindr is that you thought it was a sandwich app because Grinders are sandwiches.
That's 100% true. That is 100% true. I thought it was an application because where I'm from, when I lived in Michigan, there's a shop that sells Grinders, and they were my favorite sandwich.
Okay.
So when I got my smartphone with my wife, I was like, saw Grindr. I was like, fuck yeah, sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
And then I walked on. I was like, no, lots of dicks and buttholes.
Yeah.
Gross.
So at what point did you get suspicious? Like when they started asking you for your like height and your age and you're like, why do they need to know my age and all this stuff if I'm just getting a sandwich? Like what?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really good at getting social cues sometimes. I was like, that's weird. I mean, I was like, a lot of them were just like, hey, you want to meet up tonight? I was like, that's kind of forward, but yeah, just getting sandwiches, that's kind of cool. But like after like the third or fourth person, I was just like, what kind of sandwiches do you guys like? Like I would ask people that. I was like, what kind of sandwiches do you like? And my wife came in and she's like, what are you doing? Who are you messaging? And I was like, I'm messaging this guy named Brent. He's really cool. And it's like, baby, you're on a gay dating app. I was like, what?
God.
Oh my god.
I was like, I should be on this. I mean, but these are really fun, nice people. I wanted to. I'm very polite. I don't like to even when the social situations where I should most people are like, oh cool, I'll just head out of the conversation. I'll stay there because I don't want to be rude. So I would still talk to those people. Like, hey, how you doing? I hope you found somebody. Good luck.
That's funny.
You want a sandwich? Come talk to me.
Did you ever find the sandwich? Did you find some good sandwiches in LA then, or?
I did not. I did not find any good sandwiches.
Yeah.
I should still look.
I guess
but
you
now
gotta
I have
be
this thing called Google.
Yeah.
I have this thing called Google where I can find sandwiches without getting the promise of dick at all.
Yeah. I guess you be careful Googling Grindr on. I mean, yeah, Grindr sandwich. Maybe that. Well, although still that could be a gay thing. You never know what you're gonna. You gotta be careful with Google with what you.
It's when you meet two guys on Grindr and they sandwich you in between them. I've already done this.
I think some of these sandwich places probably had to rebrand a little bit.
I know, right?
That.
They probably need to change their name up. Yeah, it's interesting.
There's definitely why you won't find a Grindr shop anywhere in here in LA. Right. You'll find Grindr, the restaurant, but you won't find Grindr sandwiches.
There's actually a place called Grinders. It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found that out too.
That's funny. And then, so you did this one joke that you posted the screenshot the other day, and I laughed really hard. It was like, you said your wife said that you look like the brawny guy gave up because you're wearing like a red flannel. Yeah. Did she really say that, or that's just a joke you wrote, or? No,
she said that. She said that to me, and it hurt me immensely. It hurt me deeply because that's my combo. When I get on a big show, I get nervous, and I'm like, that's my comfort shirt, my comfort pants.
Yeah.
And then when she said that, she's like, you look like the brawny guy gave up. I was like, that's so mean. Why would you say that to me? She's like, I don't know, because it's true. Like most of the things that I say that my wife says, she has said those things to me.
Right. Well, you've kind of...
Like when I said, I was going to, I had a bad day. I wanted to kill myself. She's like, I want to hang myself. She's like, is the rope strong enough, though? She said that.
That was a funny joke, too. But no, what about, but the one you do a joke about her. You said you bought her online or something. Right? Or something like that? You ordered her?
I met her on Match.com.
I know.
I met her on Match.com. But she's 8. She's Filipino. She hates that joke.
Right.
It's
yeah.
like my payback for her saying these terrible things to me.
Right. So you guys kind of joke with each other then. But it's all in good fun, right?
Yeah. You can't be with somebody unless they have a good sense of humor, especially when you're a comedian.
Exactly, yeah.
My life is making jokes all the time, so totally. I can't be with someone that's not funny.
Exactly. So tell me about this too. You did 20 minutes stand up in the woods at a barbecue. Explain how this happened. I'm fascinated by this. Like, how does that even? Do you have a microphone even, or is it just telling stories by the campfire? Or
no, yeah, I did a show. I opened for a ventriloquist, and afterwards, this guy walked up. He's like, "Hey, you want to come to a woods? You want to come to our camp out and do jokes?" Like, no. What? You're gonna murder me?
Yeah,
I don't know you.
Kind of scary.
He's like, yeah, well, we'll give you food and give you money. I was like, well, I mean, I'll think about it, and I did.
Okay.
I did. I've done crazy shows before. It's just,
what other crazy shows have you done? What's crazier than going in the woods and doing?
I did a benefit show for somebody. I was like, I'll donate my time because I was like, I just want to donate for a good cause, and it wasn't for a good cause. It's for them to build another pool house on their land. I was like, that's kind of messed up. Thanks for telling me that when I got there.
That's the benefit.
And oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did a show with my buddy. His name's Phil. It was his second or third show. Like, oh yeah, could you guys do an hour and a half for each other? I was like, no, I'm 6 months in. He's like 3 mics in. No.
Yeah.
And I did like an hour of time. I was just fucking around with everybody in the audience. And then he's like, Phil went up. He's like, hey, you guys have any jokes? This guy with like a camo hat went up. I was like, this isn't going to end well. He just said a bunch of jokes with the N-word in it. I was like,
God.
that, nope. I was like, this is horrible. And everybody's laughing their asses off. I was like, this is awful.
Wow.
Well, the worst thing that happened was when we got there, they're like, this is an old house. This is Pennsylvania. They're like, this is an old house that was built on top of a slave quarters. You want to go downstairs and see the slave quarters? I was like, no. I don't think there's nothing there for me to see that I won't already know what's there. It's not like there's going to be a ping pong table or a foosball table down there. Like I know that when I go down there, nothing good's going to happen.
Creepy.
And with this accent, I shouldn't be anywhere near things that they have the word slave in it.
Good point. Right. Yeah. Jeez, that is kind of creepy. Okay. Wow. Well, better things to come.
Yeah. So doing comedy around a campfire. Yeah, that wasn't as bad as that. So I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. As long as you guys don't murder and rape me, it's fine.
Do you ever watch that show Crashing? Have you ever seen that show on Netflix?
Yeah, I love that show. It's a good show.
Great show, isn't it? So in the second or third season, where he starts to talk about these like alternative comedy clubs, because he says like the good clubs are kind of for the the cool kids in high school, and his friend, the other people are kind of like the nerdy kids, and they do these like they end up doing like comedy in like laundromats and stuff. Have you ever experienced? I mean, I guess the Woods would count for that, but is there other places like that? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anytime there's a place where someone can say like, hey, you want to do like, yeah, well, if anybody lets you do stand up anywhere, there's like laundromats, just coffee shops. I did a mic here in LA or where I live out here in Garden Grove. It's just literally a coffee shop, and it's comedy and music, and you should never have comedy and music, especially when it's beautiful songs that people care about.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like deep emotional stuff, and then I get up there and like, hey, you guys like farts and wieners? Like
that would be
a good combination.
That's a weird combination.
I never thought of that, but
sure,
that's
so
true.
If it's like open mic,
I literally did that. I was a closer. I was closing that mic. I was doing like 10 minutes last, and the girl that went before me, she sang so beautifully. People were crying. They're like, the host was like, "Thank you so much for giving us your gift. It was truly emotional. We hope that you do good on your journey." And they're like, "Anthony Davis, everybody." I was like, "Well, fuck."
Seriously,
I was like, if you guys know this dick joke, sing along. Like I don't know what this. It was awful. Like it was the worst room ever, and I like went back there and did like 4 more times. It was awesome.
That's funny. So when you came to Scottsdale and you did the comedy spot, that was cool. Like we saw you, but it was kind of interesting. I haven't been to that place in a while, and I know you don't want to talk bad about anybody, but some of the openers, like, were you kind of like, did you watch some of the opening comedians?
Yeah, I watched all of them. They're all brand new.
Is that what it was? Okay, because I was like, some of these guys, like, they seem like they're not really on their game or whatever, and I was like, so maybe maybe they're just new or something, because I was like, this is kind of, some of these, it's just like, it was kind of a weird vibe that night that you, and then you came on and you just killed it, and I was like, okay, they still got a good vibe going here, but yeah, I was a little nervous.
So for the comedy spot, he brings locals, for a lot of clubs out in like LA or New York or any other places, they don't have a lot of places where new people can get up in front of a big crowd and then try and like get better.
Right.
So they have to do open mics or bar shows. For like comedy spot, that's why I like it. It's like they're new people. They get to see what it's like to perform in front of a big crowd, and they're like, oh, so you can push you to get better. Like all those people are like less than 5 or 6 months in.
Wow.
So
okay.
So like you can see the difference between being brand new, trying to find your stage presence. At 6 months, you don't know. You really don't know how to write a proper joke yet.
Right.
After 2 years, you'll see when you see about you don't even have your voice for comedy yet. Like when I was 6 months in, I was terrible. I was still terrible. I still don't know how to write a joke. I even said one time, I was like, my jokes don't need punchlines. I'm like, that was stupid. Of course they fucking do.
Yeah.
And you places that people will laugh at.
Right.
They can't just give obscene, crazy places. So yeah, they're brand new people and they're trying their best. That's why, like, you could see like some jokes wouldn't work because like they do jokes that they didn't read the room. Right. And that's fine because you gotta learn. You gotta learn under fire. I did.
Yeah.
I learned that
totally.
earthquake show really fucked me over.
Yeah. And everyone has good nights and bad nights too. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So tell me about this.
Like, which show did you come on Saturday? Or did you come on Friday?
We came Saturday, the late show, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was great. You should the first show was sold out. And that was great.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of liked having a little bit more room in the crowd, but yeah, it was like it's a different vibe when it's not as many people and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you're new, the less crowd you have, a lot of people don't know how to keep the energy. Like for people that have been doing it longer, we bring the same level of energy to every show, whether it's 10, 15 people or it's either 250 people.
Right.
You can't when you don't have that energy to feed off of. A lot of people clam up. These are like, I didn't get as much laugh.
Yeah,
it happens. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Even you gotta realize you gotta do the same amount of energy, same level of intensity of jokes for a big crowd as you do a small crowd. Because small crowd, they'll laugh. They're more intimate.
Yeah.
They have. A lot of times, I sold more of that show than I did the first show.
Interesting.
More people in there. Yeah, because I do a lot of crowd work.
Yeah.
You guys saw that.
Yeah, you were good. And what's interesting is that it's like you said, like you got to do the same, whether it's sold out or it's half full or whatever. But like you kind of used a lot of immediacy. Like in the moment, you're like, okay, like if we didn't laugh at a joke, you called us on it. You're like, oh, you guys didn't like that one, but you like the incest jokes or whatever. And then and then we laughed at that. So like you make it funny as you go along. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
and that probably came with 5 years experience in comedy. So
yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of my style of comedy is I talk to people. My jokes are like I'm up there telling you stories about my life and just talking to y'all. I look in everybody's face. I make eye contact with everybody. I talk to people. Like I'm not up there just reciting start to finish my jokes. I'm up there talking,
right,
and then I say something funny. But everything I've said up there, I've said 600 to 700 times, and I've meticulously word for word know everything I'm going to say. Even when I ask you guys questions, I already know the answer. I already have a response to those questions. But when I do crowd work, off the fly,
you had a couple hecklers that I was so embarrassed for the heck. I was like, dude, why are these people saying stuff? And you played it beautifully. I can't remember what you said. I wish I would have wrote it down because you made them look really stupid, and it was awesome.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy that was they couldn't count to 6, and he's like, he's an engineer. I was like, you can't count to 6. That's not a great thing, bud.
Yeah.
You're a rocket scientist.
I think
you're gonna what do you do with the countdown from 6? What do you? Yeah,
it was someone shouting out about Chicago or something.
Yeah, they kept saying Chicago. Are you from Chicago? And he's like, no. And they're like, then why are you okay? Then shut up. Or I don't know. It was weird.
They think it's an interactive show that they need to say something, and it's just I don't know. Some people just don't understand.
For me, I don't mind it when people interact with me. I like it because I can take anything you guys say, and I write down responses to everything I can think of for my joke. If I say Chicago, what is my woos? I'm like, I'll just say this. I'm like, are you from Chicago? Are you not? Shut the fuck up then. I don't who cares? No one there's 17 people in this room. Who gives a shit you're from Chicago?
Right.
You guys from Kentucky? No, you're not. Go fuck yourself. But I don't care. Yeah. I like it when people talk to me because when people talk to you, also I won't put people down directly. I'll do it indirectly. I'll put down myself and then I'll poke fun at them because that's you never want to go to a show and then be put down and feel bad about yourself.
Oh,
Even if I get heckled, I'll never put down someone directly.
Oh yeah, I'll never sit in the first row.
My brother said he went to a show one time and they made fun of this guy for being fat and wearing a dorky sweater, and my brother just felt uncomfortable. He said it was really bad.
Yeah, you'll never. That's why people don't go to shows anymore. That's why people don't sit up front anymore because they're like, why am I going to sit up front and get made fun of?
Right.
I'm not going to have a good time if I get made fun of. So I don't ever make fun of people directly. I'll make fun of myself and then I'll make fun of them.
Yeah.
But it's never too harsh. It's never too hurtful. It's always just you really said that, man? Come on. What are you and the guy with the pizza up front, I was just I'm poking fun. We're having fun together.
Yeah.
That's more fun.
You never want to feel bad after leaving a show because you'll literally never go to another show.
Wow. Yeah, that's depressing. So, who are some of the comedians out right now that you really admire or would love to open for?
Bill Burr.
Love him. He's my favorite. Yes.
Yeah, he's on my bucket. I have a comedy bucket list.
Okay. Who else?
Things I want to do. Kyle Kinane. He's not Southern, but he's got a Southern feel where he's just like up there just saying things, and they just happen to be funny. Like that's what I love is where I can just go on stage and just talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm literally just up there talking to people, and what I say is funny.
Yeah.
But when people think that, oh, he just must be, just almost like off the top of his head. Like that's what I love about comedy. That's my favorite comedians, the ones that go up there and just talk like it's just off the top of their head.
Yeah.
Just all this is in the moment, but you don't realize like this is all completely calculated things that we've said hundreds of thousands of times. Like that grinder joke. That grinder joke was said like 780 times, I think. that's like the third revision. I've said it different ways before, and that's the set. My style of writing is I have OCD, so I have a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet with every joke I've said, how many times I've said it, how many times it's worked, how many times it hasn't worked. If it hasn't worked more than 10% of the time, I rewrite the joke. So that grinder joke is on revision, is on 26.3. So I've said it.
Wow.
God, you are organized.
Dude, that is cool.
Yeah.
That's actually smart, though. You're being mathematical about it. That's very smart. Now you don't.
All my
people
jokes.
Always say,
I have a Word document too.
Yeah. So people always say that they're like, "Oh, I'm OCD." You're not literally OCD. You're just anal, or you're like you said. Like I said, you're mathematical. Isn't that? Well, I think that would be more of the word. It sounds like you're organized.
When it comes to my stand up, and cleanliness. Like I have to be clean. That's OCD. But for comedy, I have a Word document where I write all my jokes out word for word.
Yeah.
The punchlines are yellow. The taglines are red. And like my stroke joke has 26 punchlines and 34 tags in it.
Dude, that is awesome. Now, is that pretty common for? Do you guys talk with other comedians about how they do it? Do other comedians do it similar, or is that like? Are you like kind of like a anomaly?
When I tell that to other comedians, they think I'm fucking crazy. Because all my jokes are timed out to the second. Like my stroke joke is 4 minutes and 36 seconds long.
Wow.
Yeah, I am an anomaly.
That's really good.
It's depressing. It's depressing. We're just like, how long is this joke?
I think that's awesome.
When it's just 36 seconds.
Yeah, but that's why I was.
The worst thing is like for my San Diego Comedy Festival, I actually timed. I get 7 minutes. I even timed in laughter. Like I have 36. Yeah,
that's smart.
I probably laugh for like 10 seconds, so I have 50 seconds of just laughter. So I write jokes for 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wow, that's awesome. No, I think that's why I'm drawn to you, because I could tell like you're putting in the work and the effort, and I mean you're just gonna keep getting better. I mean you're already really funny, I'm saying, but like I think your career is really gonna start taking off even more further. So I think it's gonna be fun to follow you. And so the next thing you have coming up is the net. Tell me about this white trash comedy special. It's going to be on Netflix, or?
It should be. Like we just got done editing it, and we're about to give it to our headliner, which is his name is Liam Brunley. He's gonna give it to Netflix, and his agent's gonna pitch it.
Okay.
So they want it. They basically what told us is they want it. They want to look at it. They want to see it. If they like it, they'll either take it, or they'll have us just reshoot it with a better concept and better cameras. But yeah, they're interested in it. But that's the thing. Like with comedy, it's all uncertainty. So it might not go through. It might go through. With comedy, you always got to keep pushing to other things that might be doing. So even if that doesn't hit, I got San Diego thing, and then I just got passed. So I'm a regular. I got approved to be a regular at the Laugh Factory.
Oh, you did? That's awesome. Yeah, because I think when I asked you when you were here, I said, "What's your home comedy store?" And you're like, "I don't think you had one." So this just must be brand new news, then, right?
Yeah. So after that, with that, I can put that on my resume when I go out of town gigs.
Right.
Because you got to pitch yourself to comedy clubs. They're not gonna be like, "Who is this guy? I don't know this guy."
Yeah.
If you put I put 2019 San Diego Comedy Festival. Regular at the Laugh Factory Hollywood, which you should put that on the resume. It just doors are going to open for me now.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So cool.
So, is the Laugh Factory compared to the Comedy Store? Is the Laugh Factory, is that kind of more the? Is it like a little bit cleaner or more mainstream than is the Comedy Store? A little bit more? Can you be more vulgar there? Is it really? Are they pretty similar?
Well, for the Comedy Store, it's like all the big guys go like you'll see huge names on like the original room. The original room is just you'll see huge names. And they're just there to work out stuff.
Yeah,
they're working material out. Laugh Factory, it seems like, you know, these are big shows and they're always full. That's where you go to Comedy Stores, where you go to keep to try your new stuff out and then perform it. Like original room is good for like writing your stuff out, trying your new stuff. Main rooms for exposing, like showing your new stuff. And the Laugh Factory seems like it's a good place to try to make sure your good stuff's great, and then you take it on the road with you.
Gotcha.
So I mean,
cool. So you have a few shows on the road coming up. Tomorrow you're in Santa Ana. Tuesday you're in Long Beach. Wednesday Anaheim, and then Thursday you're doing your headline at Comedy for a Cause in Santa Barbara. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you got 4 shows in a row.
Thank you for doing research. Thanks for doing research, because I forgot about the one in Santa Ana. Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget about that. You got to go there tomorrow. So, and then I always want to ask, and I think I gave you a heads up on this, but we try to end the show try to promote some sort of like special cause that's near and dear to your heart, or some sort of charity or organization. Is there anything that you have that you're passionate about that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So the one for Santa Barbara, it's for Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay.
Like they asked me how much it was going to be for me to come out there and do like Santa Barbara from where I live is 3 hours away on a Thursday. Driving, that's going to be terrible. And they're like, how much is it going to cost for you to come out here just to headline a show for like half an hour, 45 minutes? I was like, no, I'll do it for free. I'm going to sell. Awesome. I'm going to sell stuff there. I'm going to half my profits from selling stuff are going to go back to the cause. Alzheimer's is a very important thing.
Yeah,
you know, it affects so many people, and I wholeheartedly and like always. If anybody ever asks me to do an Alzheimer's show, I'm not going to charge them. That's okay. It's any money they can get from to give to that cause is great. I'm always supporting that cause. You know?
Santa Barbara is beautiful, by the way. Just so that will be another benefit to going up there. That'll be nice to go to Santa Barbara. Is amazing, I think.
Yeah, as soon as I get done, I go on at like 8:30, 8:45. As soon as I get done, I'm going to drive back home. I'm going to get to see any of it. Like, oh, is that cool? Is that Del Taco? Cool. Then drive home. I'm not going to get to go out on the beach or anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I feel like even the drive, like up with the coast, it's just gorgeous, right? I mean, the traffic might suck, but
yeah, it's all right. I'll just watch Netflix on the way there. I don't care.
While you're driving?
Oh, yeah. I probably shouldn't promote that. But yeah, I've done it before.
Just kidding.
I don't want to be out for 13 hours. God.
Yeah.
Have you ever just sit still and then be alone with yourself and quiet for try 10 minutes and see if you don't lose your fucking mind.
Yeah, no.
Now try doing that for 13 hours straight.
I think that's the way they torture people. So yeah, no, that's not good for sure. So okay, anything else that you want to promote? I know you have a military show in July, and then there's another comedy festival you're doing in August, the Ventura Comedy Festival.
Yeah, Ventura Comedy. Also, I just got accepted to the Big Pine Festival in September.
Okay.
So I'll be in Flagstaff, Arizona.
What? You're coming back?
18th to the Yeah.
Oh, awesome. We'll try to catch you if we're here. I think we'll be here. Flagstaff's only a couple hours from us. So.
Yeah. See, this is what I suck about. I accept shows before I even know where they are. Yeah. I didn't even know where Flagstaff was. I thought it was near Scottsdale, and then someone's like, "No, it's 2 hours away, you idiot."
Oh, but that's a better place to be in September. The weather up there will be perfect. You'll love it.
Will it be hot as shit?
No, it'll be a lot less hot. It's like, because you're going to be 2 hours north, so it's more like...
well, and it's high elevation.
The
highest mountain in Arizona is
There's actually, they get snow up there, believe it or not. There is snow in Arizona, so yeah, you'll enjoy it. It'll be nice.
Oh, great. Now I won't have to deal with this hot-ass weather out here. Being a bearded man covered in hair in L.A. is the worst experience of my life.
Yeah, so you hate L.A. You hate L.A. too, right?
Yeah. No, I hate it. It's too expensive to live out here.
Yeah,
everyone wants to eat kale.
Traffic.
I don't know what kale is. Everyone wants to eat healthy. Yeah. I can't get casted and stuff because of the way I talk. People always want to cast me I can't get casted as a doctor because no one wants to be. Someone wants to come in a room like, yeah, you got cancer. Sorry. Like, no one wants to hear that on a TV show.
Yeah, that's probably not great. But, yeah, maybe you could get some work in Georgia because don't they shoot shows in Atlanta, like Walking Dead and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they're getting, yeah, well, I live in L.A. now, so great. I just moved further away from
my sister fly you in for the role or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Like, hey, who's this nobody that I'm not never been on TV before. Yeah, let's fly him in. Fuck it.
Put you in a hotel and give you caviar and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm going to follow your career. I'm excited for you. I think good things are coming.
You.
So, thank you so much for doing our show. And I hope you can share this on your social media if you like it. If you don't like it, then tell me why. But hopefully you enjoyed it. And,
no, I like it. It was great. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for being on the show, and
thank you.
keep in touch.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. You guys have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, that was fun. Anything else that you want to bring to the table, Dana? Or what do you think about that interview?
I think it went really well, and I think it would be fun to see him in Flag.
Yeah, I think that. What did he say? September 18th, or?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, all my Arizona friends, we're gonna have to do a little road trip. That's a perfect time to go up there too. Like, yeah. So cool. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Chuck, and
I'm Dana,
and we'll talk to you next week.